BXB. It's in the game!
Hey guys, it's me Ben, back with another of my off-the-cuff quick reviews based on a bunch of gameplay and just a few notes, one-take wonders as they were. And here I am looking at Dead Effect 2 on Xbox One. What you're watching now is the intro, and the reason I've kept some of the intro in is that it's got really cool style, cool music, interesting look to it, some good 3D model stuff. I really liked how this game opened up, and sadly, it's sort of indicative of the whole problem of Dead Effect 2. Dead Effect 2, which is actually a port from a mobile game, which came out in 2015. And what Dead Effect 2 really does is scream ambition and a real sort of reach for the stars approach of development by Badfly Interactive, this small Czech Republic-based developer. And they're going for it. They're shooting for the moon here, and I love that in indie games. But the problem with Dead Effect 2, as I shall go into some detail about, is that they don't really hit any of those goals. So here it is, without further ado, my review of Dead Effect 2. Right, Dead Effect 2 is a sci-fi horror first-person shooter. Easy enough to sort of imagine and conceptualize. That could be a very simple experience, couldn't it? It could be very linear. It could be very much moving from A to B in a story mode, and then just going through the story and beating the campaign, and you're done. That's not the case of Dead Effect 2. Dead Effect 2 has so many different elements to it, so many different concepts and RPG elements and leveling systems and armor systems and power-ups, that it's like they're just trying to fit so much in. We've got a fully voiced hub full of dialogue. That, you know, there's 3 distinct player characters you can choose from at the beginning of the game, all of which are voiced differently, all of which have sort of different story beats and different ways that they play. There's more than just that single player possible sort of linear story that I was alluding to. There are horde modes, there's co-op modes, there's like time attack modes, there's different ways of replaying levels, like just fighting through waves of enemies or clearing them or replaying the story. There's a deep loot system full of different armor and weapon pickups. You know, it's a real AAA, strive for AAA development kind of idea. It's almost like you can imagine the guys at Badfly Interactive sitting down around a table, putting all these amazing concepts and ideas into a hat and going, we want all of this. This is what we're going to do. Let's make it. And then you get this. You get a game that, frankly, it looks old as soon as you turn it on. That's probably got a lot to do with the fact that it was originally a game on the mobile platforms in 2015. But that's the problem with this game. This is a problem with these console ports from mobile, that they're probably relatively easy to do. They up-res some of the textures, but they don't really take into account the expectation of the console gamer. A mobile gamer on a small iPhone screen is probably going to be far more forgiving of all the shortcomings that you find in Dead Effect 2. And by that I mean everything I described earlier isn't well done. The fact that everything is fully voiced is great, but the voice acting and the writing is terrible. That's probably got a lot to do with the fact that it's a small Czech Republic-based studio that don't have maybe lots of native English-speaking people on the team, and therefore, you know, they had to do this translation work, and it's just bad. It's just jarring and bad to the point where it's kind of funny, but it's sad because you know this isn't intentionally funny. It's just funny just because it's so poorly implemented. And do you know what's worse than all of that? What's worse than all of that in a first-person shooter is that the first-person shooting is garbage. It might be alright on a touchscreen where you can kind of forgive the delay, but on a console with the likes of Call of Duty, with the Battlefields and the myriad of other brilliant first-person shooters in sci-fi settings, in horror settings, hello Doom anyone, you know, with those on the console, it just makes this look bad. The biggest problem is input latency and input lag. You pull the trigger, the gun doesn't fire immediately. There is a noticeable delay every single time. You just can't have that in a console shooter. It's just such a bad idea. It just, like, how can you ship that and allow it? You've got all these amazing ideas that you could have cut, that you could have removed. Step back a bit on those RPG elements. Don't have so much loot and customization. You know, really pull it back and just focus on that first-person shooting experience and make that brilliant. And if you do that, then the game would be so much more enjoyable because there's lots of stuff here to like. The concept is a fun concept. You're on this spaceship. You're going out extra out of the solar system, and because of that experiments have happened due to the fact that there's no laws and regulations happening on the ship, and there's mutants and there's zombies and there's monsters and there's soldiers, and all that's really fun and silly and cool and could be so enjoyable, except that the shooting is bad. They've got pointless leveling up stuff. All this leveling up stuff, all of this sort of customization is wrapped inside the worst console UI and interface I've ever had to experience. It's unbelievably confusing. It's so poorly implemented because it was originally on a touchscreen. Everything just feels spaced out wrong. Nothing is clear. Nothing is obvious that you should do. You've got mini games for just opening doors. There's like 14 different ways of opening a door in this game. It's totally unnecessary when all of that development time could have been spent making the shooting element good. You know, that's what would have saved this. What wouldn't have made this kind of this really subpar shooter. At its core, that's what this game should be, is a shooter. It's got this unnecessary baggage that could have just been removed. I love the ambition. I love seeing crazy ambition in independent games. I get so excited when I hear about a game that is striving for so much, and oh my god, Badfly are going for it. But with more money, more time, more polish, using the consoles as the primary development platform instead of mobile. I understand this is a port, but maybe with Dead Effect 3, that would be maybe what they do for that. That would be great. But sadly, what we have here with Dead Effect 2 is a disappointment. It is a letdown. It is just bad. It's not the worst game I've ever played, but it's the disappointment that bums me out, because you can see they're so damn close. So because of that, I give this game 2 out of 5 stars.
BXB. It's in the game.